So thank you everyone for coming over. It's a pleasure and an honor to introduce you Mr. Angelo Fausto Coppi, son of the great Fausto Coppi. The main reason we're here today is to introduce this new initiative from the Marchi and BlockStar, which is really the first of its kind, when we are offering a unique replica, the first ever made, of Fausto Coppi's 1953 World Champions jersey. And uniqueness of this opportunity is not only because this is the first and only reissue that will ever be made and will only be available in one single copy, but also the technology that helped us creating a so-called digital twin. In other words, a rendering that it's going to be made thanks to blockchain technology to guarantee its authenticity, and that's going to be auctioned off live at the end of this presentation. So again, Angelo Fausto Coppi, this is Evelyn Hythopoulos from BlockStar, our technological partner. I'm going to start asking some questions to Mr. Coppi about his dad, about his most relevant victories, and then I'm going to do a brief explanation of brief stories of the Marchi, and Evelyn will help us with a technological side. She will explain what blockchain is, how does it work, why is it so important, and why it will make such a difference for the year to come. Not only for this initiative, but what impact will blockchain technology have on our life going forward. So thank you very much, and let's start. I'm going to translate from Italian. The rest of the presentation is going to be held in English. I hope everyone is fine with that. Should you have any question at the end of the presentation, you'll be free to ask whatever question you want. Fausto, la cosa più interessante per noi che siamo qui per cercare appunto di portare, grazie a questa tecnologia nuova, il ciclismo nell'era digitale è ricostruire la storia autentica di tuo padre, poi noi per quel che sappiamo, per quello che siamo riusciti appunto a mettere insieme, di questa maglia che è una di quelle, diciamo, che sono indossate da tuo padre a seguito della vittoria dei campionati del mondo. Quindi la prima domanda che mi viene spontanea è: quali sono i tuoi ricordi più cari di quel periodo di vittorie, che sono state tante e anche molto concentrate in un certo periodo? Adesso traduco brevemente in inglese, poi tu mi rispondi subito.
Okay.
So the question I was going to ask is, what are his memories of a child, of the victories of his dad, to be such a, the equivalent of a modern superhero? Because this is exactly what these people were about at that time. They were the first cyclists that will ever be remembered in the memory of every people that is passionate with the sport.
Dunque, prima di tutto io nel 1953 non ero ancora nato.
Mancava poco tempo.
Quindi di questo campionato del mondo, di questa vittoria, ho ricordi che mi hanno trasmesso, ricordi di aver letto degli articoli sui giornali, e ricordo di essere stato invitato dalla società organizzatrice di Lugano 50 anni dopo, e fecero una manifestazione, un ricordo, e mi ricordo andai a Lugano, fu una bella cerimonia, un bel ricordo. Per il resto il campionato del mondo è forse la vittoria più importante che un atleta può desiderare. Per quanto mio papà dicesse sempre che il campionato del mondo è la vittoria di un giorno, non è una vittoria di un anno intero di vittorie sommate, come per esempio nella Formula 1, quando uno diventa campione del mondo. Quindi può essere una giornata favorevole o una giornata sfavorevole, e si gioca tutto in una giornata, però il ricordo è importante.
So Angelo Fausto wasn't even born in 1953 when his dad won the World Championship. He was born in 1955, of course, but we remember the echo of these stories that have been narrated. And as a matter of fact, he's been invited by the organization of the World Championship 50 years later to celebrate this important anniversary. He really believed the 1953 World Championship was probably one of the biggest achievements in his father's career. Although, as his father used to say, the Worlds is a one-day race, meaning that it's a totally different sport. One-day races are totally different from stage races, and we all know this. But somehow the Worlds still have this aura, this they're very fascinating and will always be remembered as one of his greatest achievements. Altri ricordi di gare, di risultati, altre cose che hai vissuto, perché poi tuo padre è mancato quando tu eri piccolo?
Esatto. Ricordi, ti dico, purtroppo non ne ho diretti perché ero piccolo e mio padre non ha fatto tempo a raccontarmelo, quindi ricordi che mi hanno trasmesso magari i suoi gregari o mia mamma, che mia mamma è stata il ricordo vivente di mio papà, per me è stata insomma, la memoria in tutto e per tutto. Come per esempio quel giro del 55 che mio papà avrebbe voluto regalarmi come vittoria quando sono nato, ma purtroppo per pochi istanti è stato portato via.
Certo, che anche la storia delle corse a tappe.
Esatto. Poi ti dico, i ricordi che ho io sono ricordi dentro le mura di casa, le mura domestiche. Papà è ricordi di un papà gentile, premuroso, sempre presente, anche se era spesso via per le corse, però
per forza di cose. Questo sembra molto bello. So his memories goes back from 1955 until a few years later when unfortunately his dad tragically died. So rather than real race memories, he remembers like Iko's stories that are being told by his mom, by his Gregari, who basically adopted him as a second son. And also the idea, he remembered this warmth inside the house of a dad, very sweet, very present, despite the fact that he was traveling most of the time for the races. So a very gentle kind of story, I think, that will certainly be remembered forever.
Naturalmente ci sono tante oggetti che fanno capo alla storia di tuo padre, forse in prima battuta le biciclette.
Certo.
Sono quelle che sono state più ambite, no?
Certo.
Più preziose, anche perché naturalmente sono di fatto il mezzo più importante, no? per un ciclista. Le maglie, come nel nostro caso, probabilmente vengono un po' dopo e sono comunque ricche di un gran significato simbolico anche quelle, però c'è stato nel tempo diciamo così, in maniera piuttosto spregiudicata, forse anche un po' un approfittarsi, un commercio di questi oggetti che in qualche modo qualcuno è riuscito ad ottenere in maniera forse non proprio legale, non proprio, diciamo così, corretta nei confronti della tua famiglia?
Purtroppo sì, perché quando mio padre è mancato, mia mamma per un certo periodo ha avuto un forte esaurimento nervoso, quindi è stata fuori casa. In casa girava parecchia gente, io ero piccolo quindi non davo valore a certe cose. Certo. Basta dire che in casa io avevo 4 biciclette di mio papà che tenevamo in cantina e dove mio papà aveva anche dei rulli, a volte non c'erano le biciclette, si allenava su dei rulli in cantina, mi ricordo quando si andava a allenare questi 2 rulli grossi con una cinghia montati sotto la scala in cantina. Beh, dicevo, queste biciclette che erano appese a un tubo in una stanza che era fatta per quello, c'erano 4 bici, 4 delle ultime bici sue erano delle Coppi Fiorelli, color argento, fatte poi da un telaista di Milano da Masi, però questo è un marchio Scoppi. E di queste 4 biciclette sparirono tutte da casa, quindi mi trovai senza e piano piano riuscii a recuperarne 2, una tramite che era finita da un gregario di mio papà e una tramite un mio caro amico che l'ha trovata lui, e siamo riusciti diciamo, andando dal proprietario, dalla persona che lo usava, a farsela riprendere e ricomprarla.
E le altre 2 invece sono?
E le altre 2, una è rimasta a Modena in un'associazione sportiva dove mia mamma aveva concessa per una inaugurazione di un monumento al velodromo che c'era a Modena. Poi non metto di andarla a prendere, questo signore ma lasciatela qua perché al momento buono non ce l'ha più restituita, siamo andati per via legale ma non c'è stato niente da fare. E nell'altra non ho messo niente. Quindi so dove è la terza, che non è in casa, però la quarta non so che fine abbia fatto. Di quelle 4 che ha usato lui negli ultimi anni.
So the bicycles that have been used by Fausto Coppi, his dad, as you know, has been the subject of a very flourishing commerce through the years, whether legal or illegal. These objects that have such a rich symbolism and value of a champion like his dad, one of the biggest cyclists of all times, disappeared too early. Have been somehow always been outside of the control, of the family's control. Most of the times there has been people going through the house. He remembers clearly 4 bicycles hanging on a wall in the basement that has been somehow stolen. His mother went through a very, of course, deep psychological crisis when his man died, and this unfortunately hasn't helped. Angelo Fausto was a little kid at the time, and therefore they somehow lost control. Some of these objects, bicycles in particular, that has been resold many times. He was able to actually get 2 of the bicycles back, actually purchasing back his own bicycle, his own dad's bicycle. And so this has always been the subject of a very flourishing commerce that had been made aside the image of the great Fausto Coppi. And Jersey are no exception, I guess.
Circa le maglie che gravitarono intorno alla storia, alla carriera sportiva di tuo padre, quelle come sono state? Voi ne avete ancora, diciamo così, la maggior parte, oppure anche quelle sono state oggetto di speculazione da parte di persone senza scrupoli?
Ma no, maglie ne ho parecchie. La maglia ridata del campionato del 53, quella delle luci, o una maglia gialla, o maglia di campione italiano, maglia delle varie squadre che lui ha creato nella sua attività, e mi manca per una maglia rosa, quella è sparita di casa purtroppo.
In maniera
probabilmente so dov'è,
probabilmente
so dov'è, però così è finita a casa di un parente. Allora,
È perché questi oggetti hanno un grandissimo valore simbolico, specie le maglie. Ricordo l'introduzione che ha fatto nel nostro libro che abbiamo pubblicato tempo fa, con alcune delle maglie più famose della storia del ciclismo, fatte dalla nostra famiglia, dalle Marchi, nel corso dei decenni, specialmente nel periodo d'oro, in cui questo bravissimo scrittore inglese chiamato Henry Sykes, che vive in Italia, e ha fatto un prodotto adattamento alla traduzione di un libro scritto da Francesco Ricci, che è un altrettanto bravo scrittore di ciclismo, e lui diceva per esempio tante cose vanno e vengono, le bici vanno e vengono, però le maglie sono qualcosa di viscerale, perché gli sponsor, il colore, l'idea, quando vedi un ciclista al Tour de France vedi una macchia gialla, come quando lo vedi al Giro d'Italia vedi una macchia rosa, c'è poco da fare, e quel rosa, quel giallo rimangono sempre gli elementi indistinguibili, che non possono mai essere replicati, e che alla fine nelle fotografie da quando si è avuto la possibilità di avere le foto a colori, rimangono come immagini. E quindi anche le maglie c'è stato, diciamo così, un po' di commercio, ma linea di massima da più parte siete riusciti a mantenere.
Sì, le più belle sono arrivate.
Questo è importante. So about jerseys, Angelo Fausto says that luckily they've been able to keep most of his father's jerseys. Some of these actually, he's missing a maglia rosa, a pink jersey in other words. That is somehow being lost, maybe things a parent's got, actually a relative has got it. But other than this, he recalls most of these jerseys are still in the house, like the yellow jersey or the world champion jersey again, or some of the most important team jersey. The family still holds them, and I guess we'll take good care of it. Bene, grazie infinite, è stato molto gentile. Adesso posso parlare. Minutes, a little less than 15 minutes. The auction for the official replica of a Kobe jersey, 1953 World Champion jersey, is going to start. This is an event that has been made possible thanks to the affiliation, to the partnership with BlockStar, which is represented here by Evelyn. BlockStar is a company that does blockchain technology. Blockchain, as you may know, is most people say this is going to be the future of the internet and the future of the informatics. This is how we can guarantee authenticity in this specific case of an artifact, of an object. In this case, we can call it a relic because this jersey really is a relic. Gone lost for over 62 years. Has appeared just a few years ago, in 2015. The story of this jersey, it's relatively simple, but it's very fascinating. Given as a gift from my mother, Elda De Marchi, who made it at night, dreaming of Kobe winning the World Championship, has gone lost for a long time, has long gone, until in 2015, it showed up at the Museum of Ghisallo, which is near Lake Como, one of the most famous, most prestigious cycling museums in the world. Because actually a friend of Mr. Fausto Coppi returned it after he received it as a gift 62 years later. Being relatively old, he wanted to leave this as a gift to the museum, as a living proof of probably one of the best kept jersey, because you got to consider that this jersey is actually made of merino wool, and it has just a few little tiny spots, but other than this, it's pretty immaculate, and it has retained a decent shape. It was made to measure, again for Fausto Coppi by my mother, and it's now safely stored at the Museum of Ghisallo, who has kindly borrowed to us for this event. So the exact jersey has been digitalized in 3D technologies and will be given as a digital twin in 3 dimensions to the winner of the auction, together with a physical reissue, which is the only one that has ever been made and that will ever be made. And blockchain technology, in this case, allows us, together with a very sophisticated software, to guarantee authenticity. So anytime the winning bidder, whether this jersey is going to be safely stored or resell, will have the owner will have the possibility of actually confirm its authenticity, therefore ensuring that only one this artifact will ever remain for future memory. So the auction that is going to start at 5:45 in 10 minutes from now, it's going to last for a week, It will end on September 11th at 5:45 p.m. Central European Time, and will be followed by other exciting events that we will introduce later at the end of this presentation. So let me introduce you Evelyn Hayatopoulos, which is a head of product at BlockStar, our partner, technological partner for this important blockchain development.
Hey, hi guys. It's great to meet you all. We're really excited to be here at this amazing expo here. I could not have anticipated the number of cycling organizations that would be here. And so we're very excited to be presenting and launching here in this really special occasion. So I'll give you an intro into obviously what we're creating and what we're selling. I'd like to take a minute to dive a little bit deeper into that digital twin and what it can do and why it matters. So in addition to there being one replica, there's also one owner of this digital twin who, in use of that token, will not only have the ability to prove ownership and authenticity of the physical jersey, but also to be a part of the ability to license this jersey across multiple platforms. So it can be integrated into social media, can be used as a skin on your avatar in games. It has a multi-functionality, and so the owner of this physical jersey also will own this digital twin and receive perpetual royalties for its usage and its kind of replication or licensing sale in mass market. So it's a really exciting opportunity right here for somebody to own this piece of cycling history, first of all, but also to leverage the ability for the spread of the usage of this special jersey in a digital format across the world in social platforms. So we're really excited about that. The blockchain technology that we're using is actually based on Hyperledger. And so this is actually not only the first blockchain apparel on Hyperledger, but it's actually the first non-fungible token on Hyperledger. What does non-fungible token mean? Well, I asked that question too when I first heard it. It means that this jersey has, and that token has its own unique value to itself. It can't be traded one for one with another like token because it has its own inherent value. And I think that's actually very characteristic of the replica itself. It has its own characteristic value. You can't put a price tag on it because there is only one, hence the use of the auction. So we're going to be launching it in about 7 minutes, and what you can expect to see on the screen up here is an automatic launch first, and we have already 140 about registered users who have pre-registered, and a lot more than that who are kind of following our stream here. So we're very excited about that. The entire auction is logged and accessible on blockchain, so everybody can see who has made the bids. It's all live and it's all connected, and at the end the user will be able to interact with the 3D version of their token, and they will be able to connect it to their own social media platform, and they will have their own actually created digital wallet. And what's very unique about what we're doing here is you don't need to really know or understand blockchain to participate in this, to own and use your token. And that's huge. One of the biggest problems in this industry so far, and probably, one of the biggest causes of delay for acceptance in mass market, is that it's really hard to use. It's very non-trivial, and we have made it simple. We have made it such that anybody can use this technology. It's fully accessible to the mass public. So what happens within our application is that a wallet is created for you, and so it lives there, and you can transfer it to another if you want to, if you're so technologically adept. But if not, everything happens for you. Royalties are processed automatically. Everything is happening without a need for a touch of a button. So we're very, very excited to be partnering with Marchi exclusively for this first run of historic jerseys, and looking forward to building this into greater mass market e-commerce. So.
What I was going to ask you, how would you explain for those who, like me until a few months ago, had no idea what blockchain was.
Sure.
How would you explain this simplest possible way?
Yeah. So thank you for that. Blockchain, in a very simple sense, is a store of information stored in a block. So in order for the information to be stored, many people monitoring the system that are unaffiliated one with the other have to agree that that information is correct. And when they agree, it's cemented into the block. And then there's another block that's put onto the chain, hence blockchain. And a hash that links it directly and cryptographically to the previous block is included. So in this way, you have this kind of secure store of information over time. So that's what it is in a nutshell.
It is, in other words, state-of-the-art technology, virtually unhackable. I mean, as long as we know,
Exactly.
isn't it?
Yes.
So it's super safe, super easy to use. There are virtually no software required. Just log into our website, register yourself, and be able to participate in an auction, and then getting advantages of storing your information within the system. Therefore, you can resell with this, as all the other that will follow will be potentially can be resold an unlimited number of times, right?
Yeah. And yes, they can be resold an unlimited number of times, but what we're doing in order to enable the owner of this token to be able to safely sell it, and also to get in mass market for people to be able to see what's for sale and who owns these. We're developing a secondary market, which will be released by the end of the year for people who have bought this token to be able to market and sell it and have it still contained safely within that system. Yeah.
And as far as I know, I understand that this auction is going to start online in 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
So on a worldwide basis.
On a worldwide basis.
Great.
Yeah, so there has been interest. It's been very fun watching Google Analytics. There are people logging in from all over the world, creating accounts in Brazil, Japan, China, obviously the United States, and across Europe. So we're excited to see how this launches and actually where the person is in the world, because it's a total unknown at this point. So it's been amazing to get such organic growth. We've actually not put too much into all the marketing. A lot of it has been through reaching out to contacts that each business has directly, and then enabling social media sharing, and it has just actually snowballed. So we're very much looking forward to seeing how this pans out. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity, and not the only one. So we're anticipating, and of course in an auction, everybody's going to have FOMO except one person. Everybody will have missed out except for that one person who has won it. So there will be other runs each week for the next about 14-15 weeks going forward. So there's still time to join.
Yeah, there will be more to come. I think that we can anticipate at this point that this is only the first in a series of several other auctions that will actually reveal many of the most popular jersey design, from the classic, from the so-called golden age of cycling, into a more modern era. So we're going to have several dozens auctions in the next following months, one each week, with different characteristics. This, though, it will be the one and only. They will only have one copy. All the other ones will have a very limited number. They all follow a certain logic. Therefore, we can anticipate that auction number 2, that will start September 11 and will end on September 18, is going to be in 1953 Italian national jerseys. And this is going to be released in 8 copies, because there were 8 riders at the time participated at the Worlds. And this is going to be followed by other auction. Stay tuned for more news as we go. So I guess it's pretty close, just a few seconds.
This is a moment that we've certainly been anticipating for a while.
I'm not a big fan of content though.
No?
But we're close.
Yeah, we won't count it down, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine.
We should have an autoplay of a drum roll in the background.
Maybe the last 10, I don't know. Well, let me thank you all for coming here tonight. It's been a great pleasure having you here. And
join us for snacks or drinks after. We're available for questions.
We're totally available.
At your mercy. So, so yeah, please stick around.
So we're almost there. 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Are we connected online?
Yeah.